I don't know if we share this with you, but I put the Furnished Finder up for our property in Orange County a few months before it was going to be available, thinking it was going to take me a few months to get leads and people asking for it. And within days, I was turning down 3 to 4 month bookings that they needed the property within 7 days.
Welcome to the Landlord Diaries, the official podcast of Furnished Finder, your trusted companion for building success in monthly rentals. I'm Kelly Bailey with 8 cash-flowing monthly rentals in Texas.
And I'm Katie Lyon, Marketing Director at Furnished Finder and real estate investor with 13 furnished rentals across multiple states. In every episode, we share real stories, practical tips, and expert insights to help you grow with confidence, from securing better bookings to maximizing your rental income. So follow the show and let Furnished Finder be your partner in building a thriving monthly rental business.
From first responders to real estate rock stars, Mike and Celine Gonzalez are a powerhouse couple who turned their passion for helping others into a thriving monthly midterm rental business. After hearing about Furnished Finder through our podcast, Landlord Diaries, they took the leap into monthly rentals and haven't looked back since. Now with a portfolio of short-term rentals, midterm rentals, and a growing coaching program, they're here to share how they've built their business as a couple, divided responsibilities, and leveraged their W-2s in fire and EMS to serve their community in a whole new way. So I am very excited to introduce their story to you. How are you guys doing today, Mike and Celine?
We're doing great.
Yeah, we're doing good.
I got my
Awesome.
coffee, all the important stuff.
Black or cream? How do you drink your coffee?
It evolves over time, but right now I have layered creamer and collagen.
Nice. So our theme for today is couples, and when it comes to working as a couple in monthly midterm rentals, between the two of you, who first brought up the idea of investing in furnished rentals, and what made you both say yes?
That's a good one. I think so. Celine actually wanted to try short term first, but the opportunity presented itself on its own when we had our duplex listed and got contacted by an adjuster. And so that's how it got presented to us. And I thought it was a scam initially. And I was like, all right, he's offering to pay 30% above market, some weird time frame, 6 months minimum, options to extend. But either way, he said the client had to approve of the place and they had to see it. So I was like, all right, well, what's the worst case? This guy comes down and sees it, and I'll at least get a chance to talk to him. And Celine had kind of heard about that before, but anyway, we met him. It was legit. It turned out to be awesome. They stayed for 9 months. They moved her furniture in, and then they liked our place because it also had a garage. And so they stored the rest of her stuff while they were working on her place in the garage. And then when it was over, we were both like, okay, how do we get more of these? And at the time, we didn't know about Furnished Finder. We didn't know about any sort of listing platform or resource for this. And then it kind of went into something else before we got a chance to revisit it later.
So, Mike, I love that your first booking was 9 months. That's like every monthly midterm rental host's dream. But I think that actually happened maybe in 2016 or so, and you didn't even know the term midterm. Furnished Finder had just been launched in 2014. Now we have over a decade of business behind our belt. We are the leading platform for monthly midterm rentals across the nation, over 300,000 listings nationwide. So what happened between that booking and then getting back into monthly midterm rentals?
So one of the things we were talking about is every time we've gone and had the opportunity to help somebody, it's opened another door for something else. So I really felt like we were helping that lady who she had like a water damage at her house. And so when they came to look at our place and I had a conversation with her, I could tell she was really stressed out. She didn't know where she was going to go. She didn't want to move in a hotel. And there was a lot of tension there with the adjuster. So we felt like we were helping her. When that got done, um, we had an opportunity to help somebody else that needed a place for 2 weeks. It was like a transitional thing. And we just told him, hey, he can use it, but we don't have any furniture in the house. And so the congregation he was associated with, they brought everything he needed. And when the 2 weeks were done, they didn't want most of that stuff back. It was like, people were upgrading things or it was extra stuff. And so that's when Celine was like, hey, I've been wanting to try this short-term thing. I think we had to buy like maybe a fridge and a TV. And then it got so busy in the short-term world that we didn't get a chance to revisit what we wanted to do, which was get more of these midterm. I don't even know what I was calling. I think I was calling it insurance bookings at the time.
Yeah.
And so we were like,
Lots of aliases in the
yeah,
monthly midterm rental
yeah.
space.
So the
But we
short-term
knew
thing,
we knew
okay.
we wanted to get back to doing that, like to have those longer stays, because the short stays, like, yes, they're fun, but they're a lot of work in between.
Mhm.
So go ahead,
So you
Mike.
guys got to explore both the people that would rent your house that needed a place to stay and those that would rent your house because they wanted a place to stay with a visit. Two very different things, right? You're talking insurance claims and relocations versus I'm coming to the area for the weekend.
And exactly, you have two different sets of people. You have those who are like, they want to get back to their house and they have one, so then they take really, really good care of it. And then you have on a short-term stay, kind of like, we're here for the weekend, we're going to party and we're going to leave and we don't care if it's a mess. So yeah, it is two totally different types of,
Totally.
not all the time with short-term. We've got a lot of success with short-term, but you do have two different mentalities.
And I love how you tapped into the fact that you're helping those people. You are helping them, giving them a place to live. So, okay, so you guys discovered the opportunity behind both short term and midterm, which I think is fantastic. Let's take just a second and talk about what does your portfolio look like right now? What properties do you have, and what rental strategies do you use for them?
All right. I have my page up right now. So we have a mix of two properties that we own. One is short term in a very a very busy short term market, and then the other is a midterm that we have on Furnished Finder, and one is in Orange County, and the other one is in Big Bear Lake, down out here in California. And then there's, let's see, one, two, three more properties that we co-host. One we manage for a family member that is in both the midterm and the short-term market. So we prioritize the midterm and then fill the gaps with the short term. And then two more that I coach on that are strictly short term right now. But one of those particular owners has a property here local in Orange County that she's building into the midterm market. So she's preparing it and getting it ready. And that is her primary like objective. So this short-term thing, she just happens to have a cabin in the same area that our short-term is at. So I'm coaching her on that, but her main goal is to get the midterm going on her property down here by the beach. And then one more property in Mammoth Lakes that is actually two properties on one, and that is straight midterm. And I'm managing that and coaching the owner who's preparing another property she has in Orange County for midterm. So I don't
And
know where how many is that?
you're missing one more in
Oh, you
Anaheim
missed
Hills.
one.
The one in Anaheim Hills.
Oh yes, I'm sorry. And then I have another friend that I'm coaching through and we brought them into Furnished Finder. We got them to, I'm basically managing it for him and coaching him into the process so that he can take over. They'll probably be comfortable in the next 2 or 3 bookings that we get to do it on their own. So it's their Furnished Finder page, it's their listing, but I have a contract with them, and I'm coaching it. It's all going through Mountain Air Properties. But when I'm done and hand them the keys, so to speak, they already have their listing up. They already have their own reviews.
Looking for a simple, professional way to manage your monthly rental? Furnished Finder's Landlord Tools brings everything together. Tenant screening, lease templates, and online rent payments, all in one place. Stay organized, save time, and stay in control. For more information, explore Landlord Tools today. Well, that's fantastic. And, keeping with our theme of couples working together, in case you're new to the show, Katie and I both work with our spouses as well. So we have plenty to pull from on how it is working with a partner or with your significant other. So I'd love to dive into that of, how you both have W-2s in the community field. We've already said that. We've got a fireman and a paramedic. Which crazy, those are crazy schedules. So how do you divide your roles in business and just life to make sure that both your regular W-2 and your properties are taken care of?
I guess I'll start with work. One thing I really like my W-2. I wasn't trying to replace it. I wasn't trying to leave it behind, and I enjoy it. And what I didn't want to do is be doing my Furnished Finder, my midterm stuff at work. So I made like a personal, very clear, like, all right, I'm not going to work on this while I'm at work. I enjoy work. There's a lot of things I need to be doing and concentrating on there. So that was like my first thing. I wasn't going to be one of those guys. And Celine and I realized right away, like we had to define our roles to get the frustration out of because we didn't want our biggest hurdle to be us, right? So
Mm-hmm.
I'm very visual. This is at our other place. I had a marker board, and we were writing down, this year plan, 5-year plan, where we wanted to be, and trying to keep track of everything too. So initially I was trying to find it before today, but we made a mission statement. Like, okay, this is our mission statement, and we were coming to these decisions where we're like, okay, well, we would get excited about going one direction. We're like, okay, well, does that really fit what we're trying to do here? Does that really fit like our mission with this property? Because if you try to do everything, or you try to accomplish everything at a task or at a property, one of the things that not one of those things is going to be successful, because you're just kind of trying to pour it in everything else. So we split our responsibilities up, and yeah, they overlap sometimes.
At the beginning, I think a lot, because he's like, "That's my job." And I was like, "Who said that's your job? Nobody assigned it to you." And then I think he read a book, and it was like, "Okay, we need to like basically, this is your role, this is my role. You stay out of mine, I'll stay out of yours." So
So how do you guys
it took a
decide
little.
what role you have and what goes to who? Is it like, I think I'm better at this, or I'm more interested in this, or this is more of a natural fit for my skills? Like, how did you guys divvy that out?
I think it's kind of what we naturally gravitate for. So Mike really he loves talking to people. And if you look at our reviews, like everybody says, they put my name in it because it's got, my name on it too. But they're like, Mike and Celine were great hosts, are very communicative. He's good at that. I'm like more the person like, you can figure it out. Like you're an adult. So we've realized that he is more of he's the one that they call. So yeah, sometimes he'll get like a call at work or like a text, and he can usually figure it out right away. But I'm
Yeah.
more better at behind the scenes. I'm more
Okay.
better at the accounting part, at the calling and making appointments, paying people, setting a little bit of those things up. But I think it came over years of us figuring out what we like to do
Mm-hmm.
when managing this.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And I had to realize too, like, there obviously there's more than one way to do something. So if it's not, it's kind of like at work. If it's safe and it's within policy, I'm not going to argue about it. So when she's got an idea and it falls with, it's aligned with our mission and it serves the purpose of what we're doing, then that's okay. And if it turns out that we want to change it later, we take it off the wall and we put something else up. So
Yes, I think this is actually a fun kind of discussion for Katie and I to jump in on as well. Just the idea of like, what roles do you take? What have you learned working together? And I'm with you, Celine, that it's great when you can go parallel, right? It's when you have to cross and you bump. And we have a friend in Minnesota that says, what happens when you bump, right? Like what spills out. And that's what we constantly work on is how to work together, as you cross, as you work on the things you really value most. And you got to circle back to that gratitude, right? Of thank you so much for jumping in and doing these parts that I don't want any part of. So that's the nice thing about working with a partner. And then we've heard a lot of times on our episodes as well, if there's not something you enjoy doing, hire a VA. Go hire it out because your time is going to be used so much better scaling your business somewhere else. Katie, what have you found is helpful for you and Nate?
I think that the division of responsibilities is huge, kind of like knowing like what's in his lane, what's in my lane. And we do have some things that are just kind of like whoever is available to respond.
Mm-hmm.
But he's taken over all of like the making sure the bills get paid and the mortgages and things like that. I hate that. I absolutely hate it. So he can do that all day long. That's great. I don't want to ever touch it. Um, and I like working with leads a lot. So there's just been a lot of figuring out what is his task, what's my task, and what is truly like who's available. For instance, if we get like a maintenance request that's more urgent, like something's leaking, we need to get there right away. It's like, we're both working, like, okay, who's got 10 minutes to call, right? And sometimes it's him, sometimes it's me. But I think you're right. Just having that understanding of like who is going to do what and what role you're going to play. Before we really established that, he would be messaging someone and I'm messaging someone and we're saying the same thing but different, and it like comes across really weird, and it's like things fall through the cracks and things get duplicate. Like you have to just kind of figure out what is going on. I also think it's key to like protecting our relationship because I need to see him as my yes, he's my business partner, but also like I don't want to be involved in every single thing he's doing in our rental. And midterm rentals are simple. They're much, much more simple than something like a short-term rental. But we have 13 properties in our portfolio, so it's multiplied a little bit with scale, but like I want to like just know that he's doing the stuff and like it's going to be great. You have to have some boundaries as a married couple as well. I'd love to know how you guys have handled that as well, because I know that can be tough. It can be tough to be like not only separating what you do, but separating personal from work, right? Especially when you do have multiple properties and you're working, as different co-hosts and different situations like that.
yeah, I think it's important to, because there's three aspects there. There's one with your marriage, one with your business, and then one with your work. And so, you got to put the phone down once in a while. And if it's an emergency, they're gonna call 911, and the professionals up there are gonna handle it. So there's definitely degrees of trying to keep it in its place, but we learned early, like no, it's just unprofessional for us to both like send a message at the same time. And so she'll check if I'm at work. She knows I'm probably not going to be able to respond, so she will check with me first, like, hey, you want me to handle this? And I just say yep, and then she'll take care of it. And because we have the same mission, and we know like what the focus is for each of these properties and what our goals are with them, I'm not concerned that something's going to get processed out of alignment with what we're trying to do. And the biggest challenge for both of us is enjoy doing a lot of the things and we try to stay involved, and we've had to like stop ourselves and get ourselves out of the weeds because we have to focus on the bigger picture. We have to focus on managing and moving forward with our business plans, as opposed to like, we're on our way up to Big Bear. Let's just knock out a cleaning instead of waiting for the cleaner to get done. Well, now we spent 3 or 4 hours cleaning when we should have been planning for, we're building an ADU at one of the properties, and there's things we have to go through and get done and plan. And so if we spent 4 hours cleaning, that's 4 hours less that we have to work on our business plan, to work on our plans to, go through whatever we had planned on going through that day.
I think those are the most incredible people in the world who like cleaning, right? It's like many of us have to do it, but those that have established really great furnished rental cleaning businesses is because they like what they're doing and they are so organized. It took us, if you're getting started in the space, you have to plan with monthly rentals to spot check your property after your cleaners until you build that trust, right? Whether that's in person or you have them send you photos. I still have her send us photos, but you want that cleaner plus team that not only goes through and does the deep clean, but they're and watching for every hair in the space. You also want them to recognize things like, oh, the shower has no shower curtain. That's pretty important. So let's go buy one. And so, like in the restock items, right? So I'd love to talk a little further on when it comes to the systems and tools that really help you in your monthly rental business, especially any Furnished Finder tools that you have found valuable, because we have built them for someone to be a brand new landlord that can come in and start monthly rental business, and you guys coach on this as well. So, what are some of those tools that you have found very beneficial for your monthly rental business?
So the tenant screening is absolutely necessary and it's so easy. And the fact that you can decide, because some of these properties people are paying like eight to $10,000 a month for. So and knowing that they're kind of going through, well, one of the things we learned is when they're going through this, a lot of times there's certain out of pocket things that aren't going to get covered by the adjuster or the insurance company. So when a tenant screening, when I can choose whether they're going to pay for it or I'm going to pay for it, normally what I tell them is like, hey, you're going to get charged, but I'm going to take this $30 off of your security deposit when if it works out. That way they know and understand if it works out and they end up leasing with us, that I'm covering and it doesn't sound like a lot, but to them, because they've been nickel and dime through the whole process, and they're concerned about a lot of things, knowing that I'm going to cover the tenant screening. It doesn't sound like a big deal, but there are a lot of times they're very grateful for that. But getting it back very quickly, and I just explained to them, hey, I'm not going to see any of your personal information. It's going to tell me if you passed, if your credit is good, if you have any convictions, blah blah blah. And they feel way more comfortable not just sending me their information, their sensitive information. They know it's going into this third party app and I'm not going to get any of their, sensitive info. The online rent payment, I've set it up a few times, and I've had people who feel real comfortable working with that. And then I've had people who end up just going on my direct booking site and paying me that way. But the state specific leases is another like must have. Like I've used it. It's easy to set up. You get prompted through the entire process, and then you can share it with the whether you're leasing with a company or directly with a person, because different companies and different adjusters do it differently. So sometimes you're leasing directly to this person and there's another contract where you're getting paid through a different company. And then sometimes you're leasing with the company or the CFO of the company. And so having the option to put either one of those into the state specific lease, review it before it's signed, it just makes things so much easier.
Yeah, and I think another tool that you use a lot too, Mike, is, when those leads come in, he's really good at, like, reading them, checking them, calling them, because we know other people who are also trying to do midterm, so that has led to, like, other people, being able to learn about it and to have somebody in their place.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
that's really big. The urgency when you get a lead, right? Like don't let a lead sit there. Even if you think it's a lead that's not going to work out, and pick up the phone, right? Those travelers will put in their inquiry their preferred method to get in touch with them. A lot of times it's not a message. And if you call them, also send a message, right? I think it's a lot of times it's just different ways to reach people, especially if you're in a competitive market, or you're really facing some vacancy, things like that. You've got to take some action. You've got to have some urgency, and your own level of effort is really going to be reflected in your results there.
So that brings up another tool, that the templates that you guys have in messaging, where you can pre-draft them and then click what property they apply to, just makes responding so much quicker. And I always get the same questions from the companies that are searching for the adjuster. So what I did for our properties and for the people I'm coaching is I made a document that answers all of those questions. And in the document, it's got links to the 3D scan for the property. It's got links to our direct booking site. And then I list on there, hey, if you guys want to use KeyCheck, if you want to use electronic lease, or if you want to, it's all listed there. Everything they're going to ask me is listed there. And the only thing we're changing are the availability dates, and those are highlighted. There's Google Maps links so they could see exactly where the property is. And then I've got a Matterport 3D camera. I scan all the properties and they can tour them, with VR headsets if they wanted to. But you just literally drag it over and send it to because sometimes they don't want to get messaged on Furnished Finder. They want you to email them directly. So just send it right over within seconds. They have everything they've asked for. You're not sitting there typing it, trying to type it each time. But the template is, I have a quick template. Hey, this is our property. These available dates. Here's the link to it. And you'll be receiving an email with the rest of the information.
Yeah, and you can tell if you kind of glazed over this part of the conversation and you're newer to Furnish Finder or just looking to improve your Furnish Finder systems. Mike just gave a lot of great advice, and it was little tidbits. So if you want more about any specific section that Mike covered, you can always connect with him in the show notes of the episode to get to their Furnish Finder profile link. You can put a comment in there, and we'll jump in and help point you in the right direction. But you can tell that Mike and their coaching business, Mike and Celine have a coaching business. And from what I'm hearing, they have great systems that would be excellent to copy. So, and for those of you that have been with us for a while, the nice thing is the KeyCheck products are actually being integrated into Furnish Finder, so that you just have to go to your Furnish Finder dashboard, click on the Landlord Tools section, and what you need is there. So that's really nice that you'll have one login, one dashboard for everything. All right. Well, hosting as a couple is always fun, challenging, exciting. Partners apply the same way, right? So, what would you say? I'd love to hear from each of you. What's one piece of advice that you have for if someone's looking to get started in the space, especially if they're looking for a partner to get started in the space? What advice would you give them to get started in monthly rentals?
I would have to say it's like, know what your goal is, because it does make a huge difference. If you're just in it for like, oh, I just want to make quick money, like, I don't think that's going to work. We've noticed that the people that we coach, we don't just help everybody. Mike kind of does his own screening, because he wants to know the people that he's helping kind of are aligned with how we want to help people. And
Nice.
so we want them to take pride in what they do and be nice to people and help them out when we can. Obviously, yes, like, yes, we wanna make money like everybody else, but that's not like, "Okay, we wanna make money and that's it." We genuinely wanna help people. So I think before you do it, you kinda need to figure out what your goal is. And then once you figure out what your goal is, what your mission statement is, then you can kind of work from there. And if it's something you do wanna do, you get on the Furnished Finder like you mentioned, you navigate through it. It took Mike a little bit of time, to navigate through it, but now he's so good at how he's doing it, it's really quick. I remember when we first started, it would take him, like, hours to get something done and, like, "I can't figure this out." But over time and practicing, like, he can answer people back so fast now, and it's becoming almost seamless, which is really nice. But if you want a partner, again, finding a partner with the same type of goals that you have.
My dad always said, if you do it right and if you do it right and you work hard at it, the money's gonna come later. And so we were never like, oh, we need to make this much. It needs to, of course we do need to make money. You can't do it for free. But we set up our property the way we are our best customer, right? Like we're gonna take care of things we go rent or stay at, but we wanted it to be comfortable for our family. And that because I have my family in mind when I send a family there. I want to make sure it's safe. I want to make sure their kids are safe. I want to make sure it's comfortable. I want to make sure they feel great while they're there. So we've that's how we've set up our properties. And I've had families tell me they're so excited to go home, but the kids are disappointed that they're going home. They wanted to stay.
Nice.
And so we definitely keep our guests in mind and we keep the properties maintained. They don't feel like rentals. And these are not people like most of our midterm guests, they're not renters. They are property owners. So we have learned to accommodate the property owners. Sometimes I've had the wives ask, "Hey, can I really don't want to use these plates and these, there's nothing wrong with our silverware and our cutlery and our plates, but she wants to use her own. So of course, yeah, we'll box ours up and you could bring your own in. A lot of them, we have very nice high-end mattresses with the high quality mattress covers on them. They still want to bring their own mattresses. They want to sleep on their own mattresses. Hey, no problem. We'll bag them up, put them in the garage, and they bring it. So we accommodate and we make sure that we keep a sharp eye and focused on the property being comfortable for the family staying there. And it's the second, I don't know if we share this with you, but I put the Furnished Finder up for our property in Orange County a few months before it was going to be available, thinking it was going to take me a few months to get leads and people asking for it. And within days, I was turning down 3 to 4 month bookings that they needed the property within 7 days, 4 days, 3 days, 7 days. And it was probably somewhere between 7 and 10 inquiries that I turned down. And finally, like around the eighth or ninth, I was telling a lady who called me that it wasn't ready. And she said, well, what's not ready about it? And she was a neighbor. She was going through remodel. She thought she was going to be able to stay in her property. And it wasn't working out. She needed a place to rent. So she came, she walked through, and in my mind, I needed everything perfect. I was working on like the stair railing and I was mounting cabinet doors, and she just walked through the house. She said, Mike, I don't care about any of this. And she pulled her credit card out and she paid for 3 months. And I was trying to show her how to, work the pool equipment because my remote wasn't set up yet. And she's like, we're not going in the pool. We're not, we need a clean place where I can use the kitchen and my son and husband can work on their computers. And she came in for 3 months. I scheduled a bunch of work that I was planning on doing um, for 2 weeks after she left. And I already had the rest of the year booked before she even left.
And that was your first midterm rental back into the game. You had 7 to 9 inquiries or so, is what, recapping what you said, I believe. and that you didn't even have it furnished yet. And from there, you've now scaled to your portfolio of short-term and midterm rentals. You have a coaching business. So guys, if you're listening, this is great advice of how to get started in space and why Furnished Finder is a huge tool for your monthly midterm rental business. So without further ado, I'd love to close us out with with what we call rapid fire, and it's whatever comes to mind. Let us know a real quick answer, and they're just fun questions. So Katie, why don't you take it away?
All right. What is one rental task that you secretly wish the other person would just take over for good?
Decorating.
Decorating.
But decorating the way I want it to be decorated, not the way he wants it to be decorated.
We have totally different eye for what should be on the walls and that's probably the biggest. If that's the biggest difference, the biggest thing we fight over, I'll take that. But I think the next one, we're just gonna hire someone, and whatever they do, we're just gonna say
That's
okay.
it. Oh, that's it.
See, I love the decorating because I'm like, it's not my money. It's not my house. It's my money, yes, but I'm not buying it for my house. And I do argue with my brother. He likes to mount TVs so high on the wall that it's if you're in a hospital.
See, I would love that. I would love that.
Oh my gosh.
No, it's got to be eye level. It's got to be.
Yeah,
No,
well,
I'm talking in the corner. It's insane.
Yeah.
All right. And Mike, what would you stop doing?
In one of our markets, you have to go and pay the taxes every month. And they're literally and you get charged a small interest fee for if you skip a month. And I will never not pay, but sometimes you'd be like, you know what, I'll just pay the dumb interest, and next month I'll pay both months, because I hate, and it only takes like 3 minutes, but getting on there and like making sure it's correct, and I just, for whatever reason, I despise that
That
operation.
does sound like a pain in the butt. Okay, for the last one, just the name. If you could each host a dream midterm rental guest for 1 month, they can be dead or alive. If you have a hero from the past that you want to highlight, who would it be? And we're going to leave out the why. Just who would it be? We're going to leave it for curiosity.
I would have the family from The Incredibles come and stay at our place.
Fun. Ooh, take a big deposit.
I think they have a lot of stories.
I'd have King David.
Oh, that's a good one. Nice.
Love it.
Okay.
All right, you guys. This is awesome. Kelly, wrap us up.
Yeah. So, as always, we are the podcast for monthly midterm rentals. We have been coming to you for 2 to 3 years with the Furnished Finder podcast, just really telling stories of why the monthly midterm rental space is so incredible and how you can get involved. So jump in if you're new to the game, if you've been in the game for a while. We'd love to hear in the comments just what you have found valuable from this episode, or just in 2025 or 2026 that you're really focusing on for this next year. Thank y'all so much for joining us, and we'll catch you again next time on Landlord Diaries. Bye, everybody.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you.
Thanks for joining us on this episode. If you're enjoying the Landlord Diaries, be sure to like, subscribe, and share it with others. With over 300,000 listings across the country, Furnished Finder makes it easy for landlords and tenants to connect directly. No middleman, no markups. Ready to list your property? Head to furnishedfinder.com to be a part of the movement that's redefining rentals one connection at a time.